Darkness falls across the land. Creatures crawl in search of blood.
Nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood.
Hello there. Welcome to my review of episode 2 of Eerie, Indiana, The Retainer. This episode expands on what we've already seen of small-town weirdness in Eerie, with Marshall Teller explaining in the opening narration that one of his neighbours is Elvis, and Bigfoot scavenges through his bins, before revealing that he suspects the dogs in Eerie are up to no good.
I discovered that in Eerie, even man's best friend is up to no good.
Marshall is concerned about getting a retainer and the local dogs in town, but these two fears are not unconnected, as he tells the story of local boy Stevie, who, after getting his retainer from the wonderfully creepy Dr. Eukanuba, played to perfection by Vincent Schiavelli, is now able to hear dogs' thoughts.
You haven't been making very much progress. Dr. Eukanuba is very unhappy.
This is, of course, riffing on the old anecdotes about people having retainers installed and then being able to pick up radio waves through their retainers, although I don't believe teeth straightening equipment was ever responsible for anyone picking up psychic abilities.
I'm telling you, man, ever since I got this retainer, I've been hearing things.
It's the dog. Steve can hear what he's thinking.
Get out of here.
Well, if it's not the dog, then who is it?
Marshall manages to work out a way to record the signals Stevie is getting, but it turns out that the dogs aren't just thinking about eating food and sniffing butts, they are planning something big. The dogs are revolting after their treatment by humans and are starting at the local dog pound, with the dog catcher, Mr. Dithers. They are led by Fifi, a poodle previously seen in Joe Dante's The Burbs. He really does like working with the same actors. Marshall, Simon and Steve are forced to release the other dogs at the pound by Fifi and her muscle, but they want Steve's retainer and, unable to remove it, they chase him, never to be seen again.
Hang on, Steve. Don't panic.
The epilogue sees Marshall get his perfectly normal retainer, something that he has to convince the local dog population of.
Look, see? It's just a regular one. I can't hear a thing. Honest.
And is given a reminder not to cross them, in the form of Stevie's now removed retainer. This is a much simpler story than the first episode. Weird, yes, but with no greater message than maybe we aren't as kind to dogs as we think we are, what with putting them on leads and making some of them sleep outside, and of course neutering them, all for the benefit of an easier life for us. But it still manages to tap into the childhood fear of any sort of dental correction, and unfortunately does little to alleviate those concerns. It's a fine little story, but is nothing particularly spectacular or noteworthy, even if the disappearance of Stevie and the death of Mr. Dithers is quite dark for a kids' show, and probably as dark as the series gets.
That was the last we saw of Steve.
I think it's a fine episode, if largely forgettable, but I can imagine at the time it was shown it would have made kids who saw it somewhat weary of dogs and dentists. Unfortunately, it is probably the weakest episode of the series, and coming at episode 2, I can see that it might have also put some people off the show, which would have been a shame. I really can't give it any more than 3 out of 5. Thank you. Goodbye.